Aloha, everybody, and welcome to Spirit Chat Radio. Today, I want to discuss raising your vibration. And the reason I want to discuss this is because in my Higher Purpose Learning group, which most of you know about, it's that private Facebook group, somebody had brought up the subject of their vibration being off. Well, they had a dream. They weren't really sure what these numbers were. Everybody has a number frequency. It changes with your vibration. It's not something that's very well known about. It's known about in the spiritual realm. It's not known about necessarily here. But everybody vibrates at a frequency, and this particular person had a not very good vibration number that she'd seen in this dream. And she was asking about what is this? And the more that I started kind of trying to explain some things about her, because she viewed it as, or she felt that in the dream that they were telling her she was unhealthy. And it wasn't that she was unhealthy. It's that her vibration was very low, and it was very off, and it was very off balance, which led me to this whole thought process that led me to this radio show today. Because then when I was explaining to her some of these things, I started realizing, what you need to do is raise your vibration. And then I realized I'm not entirely sure that everybody knows how to raise their vibration, what they're achieving when they go to raise their vibration. They hear about it. Everybody wants to do it. They're like, wow, if I raise my vibration, I'm going to be in like this really amazing euphoric state, and I'm going to have access to just knowledge and feeling good and whatever. And then most people think, okay, well, in order to do that, I have to meditate. And that's mostly what you hear is meditation, or spiritually aligning yourself. And you hear all these terms of meditation, spiritually aligning yourself, raising your vibration, but they don't really break it down for you. The only thing that I have seen basically on this type of subject would be, well, if you meditate for an hour and soon you're going to, have inner enlightenment and you're going to feel different and closer to God and yourself. And that's not really helpful when you really are trying to figure out how to raise your vibration. First of all, many people don't have an hour to set aside every day. Second of all, even if you did have an hour to set it aside every day to try to raise your vibration and you're really committed to the meditation, if you go into a meditation with just the intention of raising your vibration, that's not really very helpful either, because you need to be able to, there's processes, there's steps, there's systems to doing things like raising your vibration. And if you just go into it thinking, all right, well, I have an intention, I'm going to visualize raising my vibration. If you don't really know what that means and what you're trying to achieve and the steps and like how this is exactly going to fit into your life for the better, it's just really not helpful, and then you'll feel frustrated. And so because it was such a longer subject than answering her in the Facebook group, I decided, you know what, more people have got to wonder about this and try to figure out what is happening and how to do it. And those of you who are interested in how to do it, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about what it is and how you can tell if your vibration's not high, how you can try to alter it and achieve a higher state of vibration. And I think some of the things that is going to be really pertinent information for you guys, for those of you who want to raise your vibration. So basically, what is raising your vibration? Everybody vibrates at has an energetic frequency that they vibrate. And when you raise your vibration, it's raising your energetic frequency to a state that is closer to the spiritual realm. And when you raise it to a state that is closer to the spiritual realm, what happens is you have access to connect in with the universe in a way that you've never thought of before here while you're in the physical plane. While you're in the spiritual plane, this is actually your natural state. Your natural state is to be vibrating at a frequency that the spiritual realm vibrates at. That's your natural state. That's where you naturally are at. When you come into the physical plane, because we're shifting dimensions, because we have to come down to Earth, we actually shift vibrationally and the frequency becomes lower. So I don't know how I'd explain it. It's kind of like HD TV versus TV like 10 years ago. I don't know, like the black and white TV. The vibration is just very different here on Earth. And you have to consciously raise it in order to naturally tap in to the universe the way that you do in your natural state, in the way that actually feels so good and comfortable to you, because that's where you naturally are most of your existence. Even though that you come down and you incarnate through all these lifetimes, you mainly, and this may be another subject too, but you're not in your existence, in your natural existence, you don't spend most of your time here on Earth incarnated. You actually spend most of your time in the spiritual realm. And so we just spend tidbits or little sections of time here on Earth, even if you've had 51 lives, whatever. The amount of time that you spend here versus the spiritual realm is not even close. You spend a lot more time over there. So when you're in the spiritual realm, your vibration is a lot higher, and you're just naturally connected into all the universal laws and everything. So when this happens, when you raise your vibration, you raise this energetic frequency into high enough that you're able to tap into the spiritual realm, and that you're able to have access and connect in with the universe in a way that you don't normally think about here. And what does happen is you do happen to get a sense of euphoria sometimes when you raise your vibration and you really become in tune. You start to feel like your soul, from the middle of your soul, and you can imagine it like you have this core that goes from the top of your head right down to your tailbone, and it's like this core that vibrates from the middle of your being, from the middle of your soul. You will feel good. This vibration will feel very euphoric to you when you raise it. So that is all true. You become very euphoric in a sense. And the other thing that happens is people always hear, you'll become enlightened. You will become enlightened because you will begin to see the world differently. You will have access to knowledge about universal laws that you normally wouldn't think about when your vibration is lower. And because you have so much more knowledge about how the universe runs in like an energetic manner, you will feel like you are so much smarter and things are so much easier for you to comprehend on just making positive movements in your life, because everything's energetic. And you have a sense when you come down here on Earth, most people are trained and they forget, and they're trained away from understanding the energetic aspects and properties of how the universe actually flows, and how your thoughts are energy, and how that energy goes out into the universe and actually creates stuff, and that creation comes back into your life, and how money is an ebb and flow of energy that comes and goes, how relationships are all energy that can drain you or they can uplift you. Everything's about energy and energetic movement. Every single thing in your life is about energy and energetic movement. And when you are not really aware of this, and you're not feeling this ebb and flow of the energy around you, and you're not tuned in vibrationally to feeling it, life in the way that things operate can feel very hard, and you can feel very foggy on how to move forward in a positive manner. You can feel fearful that things aren't going to turn out the way that you want them to, because you feel like everything's left up to chance when that's not how that works. And so there's a lot of things when you're not raising your vibration that can make you feel nervous, scared, afraid. It can feel hard. There's a lot of factors that fall into place with keeping your vibration lower. So I want to talk about this a little bit more. What happens? How do you know? How do you know if your vibration needs to be raised? Well, there's a lot of actually easy physical symptoms of how you would feel when you have a lower vibration. So, and the way that I'm going to explain this to you also is you have your spiritual body and your physical body, like we've talked about before. All of these things start with a spiritual body. A lot of the emotions and feelings that you have are actually in your spiritual body, even though that you think it's in your physical body. It's not in your physical body. Your physical body has a reaction to your spiritual body. So that's kind of how that works. And when you're feeling some of these things on a soul level, on a spiritual level, that's your spiritual vibration, your spiritual health. Then it will manifest into your physical vibration, your physical health if you're not paying attention. So some of the ways that you can tell if you're vibrating in a lower state, a lower vibration, is sadness. If you're feeling very sad, if you're feeling depressed, depression is definitely a sign of vibrating at a lower frequency. Anxiety can happen. Depression, anxiety, sadness. Feeling a void or feeling empty inside, like just feeling like something's missing, like you're just not feeling happy and you're feeling this emptiness, or feeling disconnected. These are all really, really good signs that you're vibrating way too low. Your vibration is just too low. Even not just to connect into the spiritual realm, you're just vibrating low. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, you're maybe, vibrating around a 2 or 3. When most people here on Earth, regardless of if they ever heard of vibration, energetic states, whatever, most people are probably around a 5 anyways, come and go. They might raise, they might go down, you might go up to a 6 or 7, you might come down to a 3 or 4. Everyone's vibration is existing. It's there. You don't have to know about it. It just exists. So most people, they kind of vibrate around a 5 anyways, and then it goes up and down. And so what would be the goal? Why would you want to raise your vibration? Well, I'm going to tell you why you'd want to raise your vibration. Then I'm going to tell you some easy ways to raise your vibration. The reason that your goal for raising your vibration shouldn't be like, I don't know. I feel like some people do it kind of like an ego thing sometimes, like, oh, I'm more enlightened and I've raised my vibration. It's, that's great and wonderful, but that shouldn't be your goal. Your goal should really be just to feel better than you do right now. And understand that we were never meant to reincarnate. God, whoever the higher being is that you maybe think about, who you resonate with, we were never created to come down here and suffer, even though that some people believe that. That was not the intention. And so we were actually gifted with tools and things to help us navigate through life here on Earth. Yes, are we down here on Earth to experience some things that help us grow on a spiritual level? Absolutely. We are here to experience sadness and loss and grief and just overcoming obstacles. We're here to experiment with our free will. People don't think about that a lot, but we really are here to experiment with free will and making different choices and seeing where that leads you in life. And so, but we're not meant to necessarily suffer over and over again or just have life be so incredibly hard that it was just a miserable experience while you were here. That is not how we were created. And unfortunately, if you're just completely miserable, you have some choices to make, because that involves a lot more of your free will. And you may think, oh, she has no idea what she's talking about. I'm stuck in this situation. I'm stuck here. I'm stuck, whatever. You're never stuck. Stuck is not stuck. It's a choice. And so you're going to have some different choices to make if you're in that type of situation. But that being said, we are going to, Our vibration is going to move. You're going to have times and even weeks that you're not feeling at your best, and then you're going to have weeks that you're feeling amazing and wonderful. So the goal of raising your vibration is to feel the best that you can feel while you're here, and to try to figure out the easier route, and to try to figure out what gifts we've been given to develop ourselves to a state that makes navigating through life just easier and more enjoyable. And you're meant, why you would want to raise your vibration is to feel good in your soul again, and to feel alive, and to feel connected with your natural state of who you are, and to feel the universal laws. And it's the reason you'd want to raise your vibration is to feel the energy around you, and to learn and be more observant past what the eye can see, to be more observant of how things are actually moving around you, to be more aware that there's so much more to who you are, and how the universe is, and how other people around you are, just to bring more awareness into your life. The more aware you are, the more knowledge comes in. And the more knowledge that comes in, the easier things get. And you'll start, at some point, you may have a light bulb go on, most people do, where they're like, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about this all wrong. I have been thinking about this all wrong. And for those of you who want to learn more about kind of what I'm talking about, I'm going to get into some simple ways to raise your vibration. But for those of you who wish to learn more, this is exactly why I wrote the Universal Laws book. It's one of my favorite books. You can find it on Amazon. Tons of people read it. They email me all the time saying they're so excited that they got it. I actually give it away in one of my classes because it's so important. But you want to become more aware. You want to be more connected. You want to feel like... And you know what the funny thing is? When everybody raises their vibration, they really do have an aha moment where they're like, yes, I've been missing this. Like, I recognize this feeling. I really recognize this. Like this... And then sometimes it goes away and they're like, oh my God, it's gone and it'll never come back. And that's not true. But you'll be so shocked that you remember that feeling, that it's just amazing and wonderful. But some of the things that you can do to raise your vibration, because we're going to get into that a little bit, and some of the things that people just consciously do that they don't realize will affect raising their vibration, I will get into that as well. So... you always want to be moving towards happiness. Always. As we become adults, they begin to put happiness, like if you have children in your life, kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, whatever, you'll notice that kids don't care about anything else except for just having a really good time and being excited. And they kind of always make choices in their day of how they're playing or what they want to do just based on fun. And then we become adults and everybody starts telling you to get a real job. And they tell you to, not to dream like that because you need to be responsible and you need to do this. And then everybody as adults starts putting expectations on everybody else as adults. And so it's like this really heavy weight that a lot of adults carry around, that they're expected to do this, and they're expected to do that, and they're expected to hold this job. They're expected to live in this certain place. They're expected to do this type of work at their job, and they're expected to please everybody. And they begin to move away from happiness, because happiness then becomes an afterthought of all their other responsibilities that they have in their life. The interesting thing is they don't realize what a huge mistake that is. Happiness is not being self-indulgent, and it's not being selfish. It is literally necessary for your soul. It is a soul necessity for you to be happy and to move towards happiness, and not happiness in the way that you made somebody else happy, so that makes you feel good inside. Yes, that's a form of happiness. but happiness in a way that you truly are enjoying at least some of the aspects of life, of living, of being here. You have passions that you should follow and that you should be doing. There's so many creative beings. People, there's usually a passion of either being in nature or being creative, artistic, something that just learning about something, even somebody are passionate about, chemistry or biochemistry or science stuff. I mean, that's all can be a passion. Something that really gets you excited to the very core of your soul. You need to be doing something for you, something that sparks that happiness, that joy inside that you've accomplished, that you've learned about, that you're just spending time and you just lose sense of time while you're doing it because it's so enjoyable to you to be experimenting with this passion. That is really, really important to raising your vibration. Hugely important to raising your vibration. People overlook it because they think it's something that is selfish, and it is not. It is something that keeps your spiritual body, your soul healthy, and that will then dictate into other things, but it raises your vibration. When you are experiencing joy, your vibration goes to a 10 all day long. All day long. You will begin to raise your vibration. You will begin to become more aware. You will begin to become more in tune with the universe. You will, if you keep your vibration and you at a happiness level, you will be more so in tune to the universe around you. Things will just start falling into place nicely. It will be the most amazing thing ever. As long as you're aware of it, you'll start noticing it over and over and over again. Sometimes you're just happy and you're just blissfully going through life, and then it doesn't matter if you notice it or not. But it is fun to notice. The other thing that's really important is becoming aware of your spiritual body. And in order to become aware of your spiritual body, this is kind of where meditation can come in. But I feel like meditation should be added in with like 8 other different things that you're doing in life. Not just meditation is going to always get you, to the spot you need to be. Meditation is something that you need to include with a bunch of different changes. And becoming aware of your spiritual body is very important because you will begin to feel when your vibration's raising. You'll become more aware of how your spiritual body feels when your vibration's lower. And in order to do that is really to become more in tune with your intuition and psychic senses. This is something that I do teach in that class, that psychic ability class. You can go to psychicabilityclass.com if you want to. It's actually closed and in session right now, but we open every few months again for new students. And I really walk through some detail with you guys on this. This class has been amazing because I have gotten so many emails of people just going, I literally feel so different. That has changed my life. And that is so awesome. But becoming more aware of your psychic senses, your spiritual senses, and becoming more aware, that will in turn help you to become more aware of your spiritual body and your chakras and everything and how that works. And again, that takes some time. For those of you who have done it on your own, that's really wonderful, and you can do that for a while. But a lot of times after you've done it and you feel like you're not gaining any progress, like I was telling you, there's always a system for doing this type of thing. And I have a really good system in place for those of you wanting to become more aware of your spiritual body and your psychic and spiritual senses. And that's in that psychicabilityclass.com. But for those of you who are kind of feeling like you have, but you're stuck, that's because you haven't learned the entire process and you've potentially had, not complete information. So you want to always move towards happiness, and then you want to become more aware of your psychic senses, your spiritual body, You want to learn how to become more in tune with how that feels and how it feels when you're raising and lowering your vibration, because that allows you to make choices towards keeping your vibration raised for the most part. Eliminating negativity in your life is huge when it comes to raising your vibration. And when I mean eliminating your negativity in your life, I'm talking about like all kinds of aspects. I'm talking about negativity coming from relationships that you have, whether it be significant other type or friendships or colleagues. I'm talking about negativity as far as social media is concerned, regular media is concerned. Eliminating anything that feels not positive to enhancing your life in a positive way is really, really important, especially when you're going on a spiritual journey to raise your vibration and become more aware of your spiritual body. Because what happens when you do that is you start to become really a lot more sensitive to energies around you. You become a lot more aware of negative energies around you versus positive energies. Your senses become very heightened in that regard. And so it's not just that they're heightened, you will be more affected by negativity, negative people, people who are just condescending all the time, or just have a negative outlook in life, or just feel pessimistic and they're just always like, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that and this is going to happen and the world's going to come crashing down and we need to start hoarding stuff. I mean, the whole whatever doesn't even matter. That is really, really truthfully damaging to raising your vibration. So it will have the opposite effect. It will lower your vibration immediately. As quick as you can go from a scale of 0 to 10, finding happiness on your vibration scale, you can go from 10 to a 0 by being around negative people and or negative things, negativity, media, social media, whatever. Now, the interesting thing about this is a lot of times people will be like, well, then I'm related to these people, or, I have to work for this boss or whatever. Well, you may be related or have to feel like, don't quit your job or anything like that, but you need to definitely be aware of the effects that negativity will have on your life when it comes to raising your vibration. You will not be able to continue to work at a place that is affecting you in a negative manner and keep your vibration raised all the time. It's just you can't do it at the same time. You can raise it while you're not at work, but if you want to become in a better place vibrationally, you might have to start looking for a new place of work, or you might have to start trying to become more in tune with maybe you're not even supposed to be doing that type of work. Maybe you want to take a different direction career-wise. You want to make good choices when you're making changes too. You don't want to just tell friends or family, oh, I can't be around you anymore. You're very negative and I can't take it. And I'm raising my vibration. That just makes you look like a jerk. So you don't need to be that way with people who affect your vibration in a way that brings it down. You don't need to be mean about it. You don't need to even clue them in on it. But what you could do is you can limit your time with those people. You can change the subject when you're talking to those people. You can change almost any negative person on the face of the planet. I swear to God, you can find a common ground you can find a common subject that makes their eyes light up. I can do it with almost anybody, and you can change the subject. You can be like, oh, I gotta go. You can limit your time with them. There's so many tricks to keeping negative people at arm's length. And the last thing that I do want to talk about with this is, and then meditation. Let's just add in meditation before I get to the last thing, because meditation is important to raising your vibration in a way that there's actual I do a chi meditation that's really helpful to raising your vibration. I think I'll do one specifically for this in the future, but what you're doing at that point in time is you're kind of releasing some of the physical aspects of who you are, and you're becoming more in tune with the spiritual part of who you are by sort of letting things drop and becoming more aware of your space when you're meditating. You're becoming more aware of the things that you feel around you, and you're kind of letting the physicalness of everything just melt into the ground. And that is good for raising your vibration. But meditation on its own will not raise your vibration. You can meditate an hour every single day, and if you go to being around negative people and you continue to ignore moving towards happiness and making life changes towards things that are going to make you feel like a happier person, you can meditate for 6 hours a day and it's not going to matter. It just really is not going to matter. And so it's really important for you guys to understand and know that this raising vibration will also change. You're not going to keep your vibration at a 10 all the time. It's just not happening. But the goal is to keep your vibration as high as you can for most of the day and keep it as high as you can for most of your life. Like, you're going to have your down times and your sad days, and things are going to happen that are going to make you frustrated. But the key is to turn it around as quickly as you possibly can, raise it up again. And the key is to just be very aware on things that you do with your free will and choices that is affecting your own vibration. The key is to understand why you want to raise your vibration. What raising our vibration is. Like I said, we're going to run through this. It's raising our vibration is raising your energetic frequency to a state that is closer to the spiritual realm, the state that you have access to connecting with the universe in a way that you've probably never even thought of before. It will bring a euphoric feeling. It is the most amazing feeling when you learn to feel energies around you, and when you learn that these energies have so much more of an impact on your life than you're currently realizing they probably do. Where regardless of if you raise your vibration or not, these energies are affecting your life at this very moment. So that is also very important. It's important to learn that moving towards happiness and making choices that eliminate happiness out of your life because you feel like you need to be responsible is the absolutely opposite of raising your vibration. It will change your life on a soul level when you understand the importance of bringing happiness into your life and making choices to move towards that. And it is really important to eliminate negativity. I mean, these are some of the things that, and to become more awareness, bring more awareness of your spiritual body, become more in tune with that. So, hopefully that this was helpful. Hopefully you have a better understanding on why you're wanting to raise your vibration, because it's awesome. It feels good. You will feel like you have a cheat sheet in life. I kid you not. It's amazing. But in order to raise your vibration, you are going to want to shift your perspective, which is why I wrote that Universal Laws book. You can find it on Amazon. It's like $2.99. And if you're feeling sad and depressed and absolutely your vibration is low, or feeling anxiety, feeling empty, feeling a void, you have choices. You have choices to make in life that will help you raise your vibration or lower your vibration. But being more consciously aware that that's what it's doing will help you make better choices. And so the other thing is, if you are interested in learning how to become more in tune with your spiritual body, then I suggest you take that class. If you're at that point in your life where you have the funds and you want to learn more about that, then that's why I put the class together, and that's at psychicabilityclass.com. But meditation will not do it alone. It is something that you want to add in with a whole bunch of other things. So, that being said, hopefully that this was helpful for you. Don't forget to stop by keystothespiritworld.com. I always have some very cool stuff going on over there. If you're not in my Higher Purpose Learning group, you can find that on keystothespiritworld.com. It's a private Facebook group where we spirit chat and talk about all kinds of subjects just like this. And we'd love to have you. You can click on the link to be invited in. It's an invite only. or you can go to my Facebook page. I post the links there sometimes. And hopefully that you all will go reevaluate where your vibration is, how much you are enjoying life, and make a new life plan to move towards happiness and feel the universe around you and just enjoy all the energies that are flowing in and out of your life on a daily basis. So have a wonderful day. Aloha.
It can get lonely climbing Mount McKinley, so to entertain myself, I go to ChumbaCasino.com. At Chumba Casino, I can play hundreds of online casino-style games for free, like online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Plus, I get a daily login bonus. It's just too bad that up here, I don't have anyone to share my excitement with. Woohoo!
Live the Chumba life. Anytime, anywhere. Play for free now at ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Black Friday is coming, and for the adults in your life who love the coolest toys, well, there's something for them this year too. Bartesian is the premier craft cocktail maker that automatically makes more than 60 seasonal and classic cocktails, each in under 30 seconds at the push of a button. And right now, Bartesian is having a huge site-wide sale. You can get $100 off any cocktail maker or cocktail maker bundle when you spend $400 or more. So, if the cocktail lover in your life has been good this year, or the right kind of bad, get them Bartesian. At the push of a button, make bar-quality cosmopolitans, martinis, Manhattans, and more. All in just 30 seconds. All for $100 off. Amazing toys aren't just for kids. Get $100 off a cocktail maker when you spend $400 through Cyber Monday. Visit Bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.